As we all know, when we look into each of the Gospels, we find a particular style, a particular flavor, and a particular way that they try to portray Christ. And Luke is no different, whose feast day we celebrate today. Now we know that Luke was a physician, he was a doctor. And I think some of that probably comes out in his writings as he writes about the divine physician, Jesus Christ. And the way that he portrays Jesus is one that he portrays Jesus as that person who wants to go out into all areas of our life, with every type of people, and welcome them. To the pagans, to the Gentiles, to the Jews, to all people. And it really emphasizes that universal love, the universal love for not just the chosen people who were the Jews, but for all people. What does that have to do with us? In some way, we too take part in that. As we are transformed through Christ, we too become physicians of souls in some way through the presence of Christ in us. First, we need to look at our own healing, but then we need to go out and realize that God depends on us to bring about others' healing. In the responsorial psalm today, we heard these words, "Your friends make known, O Lord, the glorious splendor of your kingdom." Who are Jesus' friends? You and I. And he's saying, your friends make known, O Lord, the glorious splendor of your kingdom. In other words, he's saying, we all of us, Jesus' friends, have to speak about the kingdom. We have to show with our lives and with our words that Christ's love is universal. It's not just for a particular group or particular person, but our hearts are open to all. Because all need the presence of Christ. And God has oftentimes people that He wants us to touch, that He wants to use us as instruments to make a change in their lives. He wants to be transmitted through us to them. And so we do have to speak about what we receive. You know, I think in the spiritual life, certainly there's a time when we are more like consumers. We come to events, we come to Mass, we come to pray, and all we do is receive. And that's good. But there's also a time to give, to speak, to challenge, to encourage others. In some way, in some form, we too, if we're friends with Christ, we too speak about the splendor of the kingdom. When was the last time you talked to someone about God? Just think about that for a second. When was the last time you brought God into a conversation with a friend or a family member or maybe even a stranger? That is what Jesus is expecting of us, because people depend on us. And I think more than ever, this world is in need of healers, of healing. And we know that it's not because we're perfect, but because God chooses us and He wants us to be wounded healers. We're all wounded. But Jesus was a wounded healer too. And so He wants us to participate in that mission of bringing Christ's love to all people, regardless of social status, regardless of race, regardless of age, regardless of nationality. Christ's love is universal, and let ours be as well.